Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Talking Fever. That is me, The Talking Fever. Welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about how to overcome anxiety and depression without medication or therapy. Now that doesn't mean that medication and especially therapy is something that you shouldn't do necessarily or not look into. But there are a lot of things that you can do outside of being medicated and going to therapy that will help you actually deal with the mental turmoil and stress and weight that you're feeling in your mind, your body, emotionally, spiritually, and just in life. And one thing that's really important to remember, no matter what any process that you try to go through, especially in healing anxiety and depression, is that it will just naturally take time, not because of time itself, but because of the practice and the steps and the effort that you need to take, pursue, and put in order to achieve the outcome you're looking for. And in this case, it's for a healthy mind and healthy emotions. And that's just naturally going to take time. With that being said, the very first thing to fixing a problem is acknowledging that you have one. You have to trust the feeling that something is off or wrong and know that there is a reason for why you cannot feel or get enjoyment and peace in your life. And this happened for me when I was 18. I had experienced anxiety my whole life and depression throughout my teenage years, but at 18 I remember laying in my bed at night and just thinking about my perception of everybody else's life being like, everybody else can be happy, everybody else is like normal, but I'm not, and I don't feel normal and I don't feel happy, and there just feels like there's something that isn't right here, like I shouldn't feel this way inside myself. And I made a commitment to myself and to God, even though I didn't really have a structure to spirituality. I just always had a feeling that there is something more and greater that I don't understand yet, but it's there. So I made a commitment to myself, my future, and to whatever this higher power was, that even though I don't understand what I'm feeling now, I'm going to commit my life to figuring it out and getting better. Mind you, mental health had never been a discussion in my family, so this was something I was doing on my own, and it's a choice that I made for myself. Number 2 is practicing awareness. You have to become aware of how your environment and the people in your environment may be affecting your mental health. And you need to self-reflect. You have to look at yourself and be really honest. Where or how are you holding yourself back? Where is your shame, and how might you be punishing yourself for certain things, experiences, feelings, or maybe even a lack of action in certain aspects of your life? And you have to offer yourself, like I did, the promise and the commitment that you will never stop trying to do better and to be better and to feel better mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and never give up. It's hard to look at yourself and acknowledge how you really are hurting yourself, how you really are holding yourself back, how you really may be acting out in ways that are hurtful or harmful to others. But to not go all the way into full despair, stop and then say to yourself, I don't want to do these things. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt others. I want to do better. And make a commitment to yourself that you can, you will, and everything you believe or have come to believe about yourself up to this point isn't necessarily the whole truth, or isn't fully informed, and isn't who you are or will be for your entire life or the rest of it. So, practice awareness. 3, you have to celebrate the small wins that you have. Did you get out of bed today? Be thankful for it. If that's something that's really hard for you to do and you got up and you got out of bed, maybe you did like a 5-minute exercise, maybe you decided to go outside for 10 minutes, maybe you decided to do something even a little bit productive, maybe you drew half a drawing, maybe you made yourself a meal, you didn't microwave something. Anything that you did that is something that you have been telling yourself, oh, I need to do this, I keep not doing it, I just don't have the energy, but you broke away from that pattern and you did something, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it in your heart, in your mind, in your body, in your soul. Be like, I did this. And really let it sit with you that you broke away from the pattern, that you actually got your energy and you put it into something that you've been meaning to do or that you've been wanting to do, that you feel like you needed to do, and you did it. Celebrate it and be thankful for it. Be thankful that you did that today. 4 is you have to challenge yourself. You have to. Think about something that you're afraid of doing and do it. Now, this may be harder or easier depending on where you are in your process of healing and overcoming mental illness, mental ailments, but you should always be pushing yourself, even if it's just a little bit further than you normally would go. Do it, because you're going to surprise yourself. I promise. If you have anxiety or don't like talking to people, get a job that makes you talk to people, that pushes you outside of your comfort zone, that stresses you out a little bit, that makes you feel a little bit anxious, and go all in. Even if you feel like you don't know how to talk, you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing, ask for help if you're actually trying to perform a task, or just kind of push yourself past the awkwardness, past the discomfort, to speak to people, to just get out there and not be so afraid of people. Personally, for me, my anxiety is social. It always has been, and even to this day, though I don't genuinely feel anxiety like in my body, I still have those thoughts of like, do these people like me? They probably don't think that great of me, blah, blah, blah. So I'm still working through it, although I don't have the panic of an anxious nervous system behind it. And one thing that's really helped me, because when you experience anxiety, it is in your body. Your entire body reacts to it. Your heart rate goes up. You feel shaky. You feel panicky, but your mind is racing as well. And for me, I had a job at a clothing store that actually made you go out and talk to people and work alongside the clients to find clothes for them. So it was very much so social, and it was a challenge for me to get comfortable talking to people. I felt so stupid. I was so anxious. I didn't know how to talk to anybody. However, I, at this point, was in therapy, and I got a lovely tip from my therapist to self-soothe. And one of the things she taught me to do was to just like rub my arms and like kind of give myself like a hug and rub my arms. And this is actually works. It works. It's like somebody giving you a hug and calming you down. It's stimulating on your arms. It like brings serotonin to your brain. It helps you calm down. But that led me to practice bringing my anxiety from my brain and feeling it in my body. If you take your focus from your racing thoughts, take a breath, and you bring it into your body, you can focus on locating where the anxiety is in your body. For me, it was my chest. My heart was racing. I felt shaky. I felt like there was a lot of just anxious energy here. So when I took my focus from my racing thoughts into my body, I actually became more in tune with how anxiety was physically affecting me. So I just took a breath, like literally moved my focus down my body to my heart, breathed in and calmed down. And I would just genuinely focus my energy on calming down my heart, taking a breath, bringing myself back down to earth, and it worked. Huge tip here for anxious people: find your anxiety in your body and deal with it there. Don't deal with it in your head. Take it out of your head, find where it is in your body, and focus your mind on calming that area down. It's gonna work. Okay, 5, you have to change your mindset. You have to. So take every experience that you've had that plagues your mind, that bothers you, that adds on weight or stress, and put it in a neutral space and ask yourself, what can or did I learn from this? If you haven't learned anything from it, ask yourself, what can you learn from it? And I know that can be hard with certain situations, so work with what you can, but ask yourself, what did this experience show me? What can I learn from it? If this was a negative experience, what can you do in your power to prevent it from happening again? You know, if you ended up in a situation with people who hurt you verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally, what were some signs maybe that those people were going to do that? You know, what were some red flags that maybe you didn't see originally because you didn't know better or you weren't aware? What did they show you? You know, what things led up to that experience that put you in mental, physical, emotional danger? And then what can you take from that and know, okay, this, if something like this starts to come up again, what can I see and pinpoint and recognize that this could lead to this, and this is what I don't want. So how can I stop it before it gets there? How can I maybe even put my own energy into the situation to make it more positive, you know, to get a different outcome? Think about it. And then if it was a neutral or a positive experience, think about what about it was positive. You know, did you feel validated from a certain experience or person? Did you feel seen or loved or cared about? What was it that happened that brought you some joy, brought you some peace, made you feel a little bit more hopeful in the state of humanity or yourself? And then think about what you can do to make things like that happen more often. Now, we don't have control over anything but ourselves. That's something we need to accept. So we got to take responsibility for what we can do, what we can take and learn from any situation, and how we can apply it to create better things for ourselves in the future. So acknowledge the bad and the good and use it for your good in the future. Change your mindset into one that is willing to learn and grow, progress. Next thing, number 6, is to consume what's healthy. Consume what's healthy. Watch and look at media that is gonna uplift you. Okay, if you follow people on social media platforms that trigger insecurities, that make you angry or anything upsetting, disconnect from that. Now, I do think that we shouldn't totally disconnect from things that challenge us or are contrary to what we believe or think or want to see, because it's not good to be in a bubble. And if you can't interact with those things, when those things come to interact with you, it might not be good. You know, you might crack, crumble, and just fall apart, right? And that's not what we want. But for the most part, test yourself. Get rid of most of it. Maybe leave 1 or 2 things that do make you a little uncomfortable, that do bring up a little bit of insecurity, so you can face that healthily. Okay, don't bombard yourself with it so you feel crushed under the weight, but leave 1 account or 2, something small, so that you can still have something to challenge your thinking, especially if it's insecurity. So you can start to figure out, while you're putting your effort, your energy, your follows, your subscribes towards things that are uplifting you, bringing you to a healthy mind state, things that are motivational, things that are inspirational, things that help your faith, things that help you learn about healing, about psychology, about mental health, right? Fill your mind up with mostly that, but leave something to challenge yourself, so while you're healing, you can start to understand whatever is triggering you in a different way, so that one day it's not going to hurt you anymore. You're going to understand why that affected you the way it did, because of all this good stuff over here helping you. And then you're going to be okay. So if you have some type of confrontation with this thing, you're not going to fall apart. You're not going to lose your shit. You'll be okay. And maybe you'll be empowered. Who knows? Something, just a side note for depression, watch nature documentaries. Especially if you live in a cold place, watch nature documentaries. Watch things about animals, watch things about bugs, watch things about fish, watch things about plants, watch things about the earth, because it's beautiful, and you need the green, you need the blue, you need the aliveness of this planet to help you feel alive, feel connected, and feel good. Watch nature documentaries. And you can learn things from animals too. So you can learn from anything. Learn from anything. Eat healthy foods. Eat healthy foods. Buy organic foods. Cut out excessive junk foods and processed foods, because those things just aren't good for you. Do what you can. You know, we don't all have a lot of money. I myself am a paycheck to paycheck kind of girl. Not that I want to be, but so just start to transition wherever you are at into a healthier diet, and shop around, find new stores, be smart about it, look up things online, like literally take 5 minutes to look up cheap healthy things that you can do right now. Follow organic food and non-GMO and all that good stuff on Instagram. Follow farmers, follow people that garden, follow it. Follow it to educate yourself, surround yourself in healthy hacks. And you're going to learn things. You're going to find affordable ways to give your body what it needs. So essentially, you just want to start the process of cleaning your body and your mind consistently over time, and you'll have found that you've completely transformed. Number 7, you have to understand that there are levels to this. I have notes down here, so I'm just going to read what I wrote. When you start addressing your mental health and work to gain back control over your mind, your emotions, your body, and thus your life, you start where you currently are. Where are you right now? You have to. You can't skip anything. So address what is directly in front of you, hindering you, and causing the most harm. Over time, and with consistent effort, you will naturally find yourself digging to the root of each area of your life and cleaning out what is no longer serving you or others. It is a process that takes time. It is a process that takes time, and that's okay. And we're not going to get through to everything. It's not going to be done in a year. It's not going to be done in 2 years. It's not going to be done in 3 years. It's not going to be done in 4 years or 5 or 6. I'm at year 6. Yep, I'm at year 6 right now. And through it all, it's been very challenging. And I would say it took about 3 years of consistent effort and turmoil and struggle and challenge, but nevertheless hope and faith and effort to get to a point in my life where these things started to catch up to me, and I was like, whoa, I'm kind of a different person now. And then in year 4, so much changed. Year 5, even more changed. Blown out of my mind. In year 6, I'm like a completely new person. But yet, I still have things to learn. I have committed myself. I made that promise at 18 that I was never going to stop trying, that I was always going to learn, I was always going to put in the effort, and I was always going to try my best. And I am, to this day, still trying my best. And now that doesn't always mean that you're going to do your best every time. It doesn't. But you're going to try, and you're going to keep trying. Because if you keep trying, try and try and try and try and try and try and try, all these tries is you doing. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. If you're trying, you're doing it. If you try once, you're not doing it. If you keep trying, you're doing it. Hello, you're doing it. Okay? So keep trying. And accept that it takes time. You can't get to everything all at once. It's never going to end, by the way. It's a lifelong commitment. And it's beautiful that way. Once you get far enough in, you start to appreciate it. And you don't want it to end. You're like, wow, this is great. I love growing. I love learning. I love that I even can keep expanding in this way. You're going to like it, but you got to keep trying. You got to get past the first few years, the hard parts, the really hard parts, because it's the most challenging when you start. It is. But that's when it counts. So don't give up. Number 7, this is a hard one. You have to take responsibility for your life. I'm going to read it again. You have to take responsibility for your life. If you want anything in this world, you have to take responsibility for getting it. Not that others can't or won't help and support you, but there are some things only you can do for yourself that will lead to a more fulfilling life. That's just the truth. There's only some things you can do. If you've ever had a friend that you have loved so dearly and saw so much potential in, and you just wish that they could see themselves the way you see them, but they don't listen to you, but they won't see it, but they keep making the same mistakes, and you're like, God, why do you keep doing this? Only they can choose better for themselves. You can't save anybody. You can't fix anybody. You can help them. You can support them. You can say, I believe in you and I want you to try it for yourself. But at the end of the day, it is their decision. It's their responsibility. And it's yours too. At the end of the day, other people can help you. Other people can support you. Other people can see all this beautiful, wonderful, magic, potential, inside of you. But you got to take responsibility for your life. If they can't do it for you, if they can't fix whatever's hurting in here, no matter what they do, no other person, no friend, no parent, no boyfriend, no girlfriend, no whoever, whatever, can do that for you. Not that it won't help if you resolve issues, if you get closure from a certain person in a certain situation. It does help. But we still gotta be okay without it. And we can't blame our life and our hardships and our whatevers because this person wasn't there for us, or this person did us wrong, or this person never apologized to us, or whatever. You got to take responsibility. Now that doesn't mean that whatever they did is necessarily right, but it also doesn't mean that your entire life suffers because of their mistake. Somewhere in here, you got to stop. You got to say, no more. Is this going to affect me? No more am I going to let this control my life. I am taking back control of my life. I am taking responsibility for it. I'm going to put all my effort and energy into fixing my shit, into healing, into getting better, into feeling better, whether you give me what I wanted or not, whether you can treat me right or not, whether this is fair or not. I'm going to do what I have control over, what I can do to make my life something that I want to live. You got to take responsibility. Take responsibility wherever you can. Sometimes this is going to feel really unfair. Like you're not allowed to be emotional, to be hurt, to freak out, or be angry. It's going to feel like, why does everybody else get to do this? Why does everybody else get to feel this way? Why can't I have a break? Why do I got to be the better person all the time? It's going to feel like that. It is. But here's the thing. You always have the choice on how you want to act and react. Nothing and nobody is stopping you. But there will always be a consequence with everything you do. So if you want to freak out, you can. If you want to be angry, you can. If you want to be emotional, you can. If you want to whatever, you can. That's your choice though. It's like, a little tricky once it gets to this, right? You don't have to. You don't have to be the bigger person. You don't have to forgive anybody. You don't have to. but you can choose to. And it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of effort. And you know what? Most of the time, it's the better choice. Now, I will say, sometimes you can't just be there and make everybody else happy. Like my personal experience, right? I've had issues with a person in my life, and there's something that I couldn't forgive them for. And I had to make it known because it is valid that I couldn't forgive them. It is valid that I require a certain amount of awareness and remorse and an apology, a genuine one, to have a relationship with this person in my life. That's valid. And sometimes you need to make it known that, hey, this thing is serious, it hurt me, and I cannot accept the same behavior over and over and over again. Like, it just is what it is. This is not saying that you let everybody walk all over you. This is simply saying that you have the choice on how you deal with things because you are responsible for yourself. It is sometimes necessary for other people to know that you did something or that they did something that is unforgivable, that is unforgivable without certain important steps of action taking place. Hey, boo. And that you genuinely, honestly, can't get past a certain level with them without this and this and this. You can forgive somebody and also not invite them back into your life. And I do think forgiveness is important. At the end of the day, we should try to forgive people that have wronged us and hurt us. But the only way to truly do that is to acknowledge that you can't. If that's the truth, if that is the truth, you can't pretend, nor should you pretend, and push off and cover up and just suck it up and deal with something that really hurt you, that devastated you, that is unforgivable. And so it's important that if you want this person in your life, especially, that you communicate to them, I can't have this relationship with you again, whatever kind of relationship it is. I can't have this level of closeness with you without this being addressed. Whether you want them back in your life or not, if it's a parent, if it's a lover, if it's a friend, if it's maybe even an abuser, maybe don't invite them back into your life, but we shouldn't be punishing ourselves for their mistakes. And forgiveness is a way to set yourself free from those things. But it doesn't automatically mean a green flag back into your life. And it's 110% valid for there to be certain things that need to be met in order for you to trust somebody and let them into your life again. That's just what it is. But take responsibility for what your part is in everything. And make wise choices. Number 8. You have to accept life for what it is and how it works. And no, this does not mean to take a nihilistic worldview believe that there is only doom and gloom coming and the world is terrible and horrible and evil, and give up on everything because nothing matters and all that. Because that's just not simply true. That's not the truth of life. Life is not all evil. Life is not all bad. Meanwhile, there's plenty of it in life. Yeah. But those are also people making evil, bad decisions. People, whether they're taking responsibility for it or not, making evil, bad decisions. And what we want is less people making evil, bad decisions. Take responsibility. But you have to accept life for what it is. One thing is that no one is owed constant pleasure, happiness, or peace. And the longer that you think you are and chase these things, the worse you will feel. And you may end up in places and situations and with people that you don't want to really be in or with. Do not make pleasure your goal in life. And do not think that everything is always supposed to be good. You're never supposed to be challenged. You're never gonna hurt. You're never gonna cry. You're never gonna have loss in your life. That anything is guaranteed. It's not. I feel like in this day and age, everybody's like, we all deserve this and we all deserve this. And it's a lovely sentiment, and I get it. Because we all want this, right? We all want peace. We all want acceptance. We all want understanding. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to be tortured in countries having war, be put under oppression. Nobody wants to starve to death. Nobody wants to work their ass off and be a slave to somebody. Nobody wants that. And in a perfect world, we wouldn't have that, right? We all would opt for something else. But that's kind of the reality we live in. There are people in mines in Africa mining cobalt that is put in our iPhones. They don't look happy. You have an iPhone? Okay. There are people around the world that are suffering. And they're suffering for things, if you are like myself and get to live in a modern country and you're not in a mine somewhere, or really you're doing much hard work at all physically, who's to say that you are more deserving of not being there than that person is, right? So that's just life. That's just life. We are all going to struggle. Some people's struggles are going to be way more than ours will ever be. That's facts, okay? Who's not in Iran right now? Me. I'm not. Are you? Are you not? Okay. Do those people deserve to be going through the things that they're going through? No, absolutely not. Whatsoever. But do we deserve to complain about the luxuries that we really have where we are? Should I complain about all the luxuries that I have in my life? No. And although the other people have it worse than you, doesn't help when you're trying to deal with your own things all the time. It is something to remember, because then you can be a little bit more grateful and a little bit more thankful, and kind of get out of your own head on what's really important, because sometimes we add importance to things that aren't. important. Pleasure and happiness and peace, it's just something that is not always going to exist for everybody. It's just not. And you're never going to have a healthy life. Like, you're just not, if you can't accept that and learn how to go through the uncomfortable parts of life, go through the challenging parts of life, and persevere and be resilient. You gotta learn that. You gotta accept that. Because if you're only going to kind of fall down and give up, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. We all gotta build our resilience to the hard things. Because we might, who knows, we might get called to do some hard things in our lifetimes, you know? We could go to war. How many people want that? Nobody. But when we're there, what are we gonna do, you know? What are we gonna do? And one thing that nobody likes, but is true, there are consequences to action and inaction. Whether you choose to work on your mental health at all or not, whether you choose to wait before reacting in one situation or another or not, whether you choose to be painfully honest with yourself, or not, whether you choose to be vulnerable and honest with someone else, even if they may reject you, misunderstand you, or cannot provide what you need and want in that moment, or not, whether you choose to punish yourself for mistakes, regrets, or allow yourself grace and forgiveness that you need to move on and make an important promise to yourself, or not, consequences are a part of life. And that is not a bad thing. Consequences aren't all bad. I know when we talk about consequences, it's usually in a negative lens, right? You do something bad, then you get a consequence, right? You get a punishment. Sometimes the consequences of your actions are positive. The consequence is just what is made out of an action or an inaction that you take. And then last thing, anything and everything, and I've said this before, takes time to build, and that's okay. Everything is a domino effect of small efforts which accumulate to create something larger. For a long time, it's going to feel like nothing is happening or changing in your life, in your mental health. It's going to feel like that. And that is going to be discouraging, but you can't give up. You have to choose, choice, personal responsibility, to keep trying. And you should make that choice. One day, you will wake up a renewed person. You're not even going to recognize yourself in a few years. Promise. But you got to keep trying. Now, these last two are really important. And ain't nothing going to work without them. So, number 9, truth is everything. Without honesty, none of this will work. You cannot lie to yourself and expect things to change in reality, the true world. You have to exist and make change in truth, accepting what is real and how you feel, act, think, and behave in order for anything to change. As long as you lie to yourself, right? A lie isn't real. It's an illusion. It's false. As long as you lie to yourself about yourself and the world, anything you try to do will have no base. All these things that you're telling yourself, and we don't even realize sometimes how much we are lying to ourselves. And the truth is hard to face, let me tell you. But as long as you lie to yourselves, right, it's going to be floating up here in this imaginary world that isn't really based on reality or what's really happening or what, it's just not real. As long as you lie to yourself about yourself and the world, anything you try to do will have no base, no foundation, and quickly fall through because it is not grounded in reality. Be honest in everything. Be honest. If you lie to yourself, you are not setting yourself up for success. That's what it is. And number 10, have faith above everything. You gotta have faith. You gotta believe. Okay? You have to believe in the ability to heal, change, grow, and learn in order to do so. If you do not believe that you can do something, you won't even try, or you will give up easily. The drive for a healthier mind, body, and lifestyle has to come from you, and you have to always believe that you can achieve it. Now, having faith also is having faith in God. I'm not going to make this about God, but God's a really important part. And personally, through my journey, even though I haven't always known what God is or understood God, God has been a huge part of it. And finding God and figuring out God and being connected to God has been a huge part of it. And for me, God has helped me through everything. A big part of why I could keep going and having faith is because I believed so hard that something was looking out for me and that things would get better, and I am trying with an end in sight, with a beautiful end in sight, and with love from God. So, here are some things to remember that we talked about. Number 1 is don't fake it till you make it. Don't. I hate that term. I used to be one of those fake it till you make it. Don't fake it till you make it. Don't pretend. Because pretending is a lie. Pretending is a lie. Pretending is a lie. You're acting. You're not truthing. You're lying. You're pretending. It's okay not to know. It's okay not to be there. Okay? You gotta be honest with yourself. Push yourself? Yeah. Challenge yourself? Yeah. Try your best? Yeah. Be honest. Be honest. Now, you always have a choice. You do. You always have a choice. Somewhere, you got a choice. Focus on what you can control, which is yourself. Just like anything else in life, change or growth takes consistent effort over time. And you can't rush a stable and healthy mind. You have to want it for yourself. You do. Consequences are real and important in helping us learn and understand the gravity of our decisions. Get something, as in learn, out of everything you experience and apply it. take full responsibility for yourself moving forward. Where you are right now, take responsibility for your life. Acknowledge things that didn't work out in the past. Don't blame your future on that. Accept the past, cut it off, take responsibility for now and the future. Acknowledge when you make the right or better choice, when you deviate from the bad habit or trend. Now I wanted to draw you something here so you can see. So acknowledge when you deviate from the bad habit or trend. This is where you are. Can you see that? Can you see that? This is your life path right now. Maybe you get to like here. Can you see? Okay, you get to here. And you decide something happens and you're about to react. But you decide to stop and take time before you say something or react. So you were gonna go this way, but now you're like, let me stop, take some time to react. Oh, okay. Look at that. You just deviated from the path you were originally on. And now you're going here. A little bit better. Oh, something else happens. Maybe you want to give into a bad habit and you decide not to. Oh, deviated from the path. Wow, look at that. And you keep going, doodly doodly doo, making a little bit better decisions. Oh, maybe something happens again. And this time you react, you didn't wait. So you go back a little bit. That's okay. See, now we went back towards the beginning, that's okay. But we're still better off than we were. We made a mistake, that's okay. We're human. We keep going. Oh, another thing happens. Maybe we get an opportunity that we would have been like too afraid to do, or we have a chance to like talk to somebody important. Maybe make a new connection that's going to lead to something. We would have been afraid to do it before, but this time we take the leap. Oh my God, it was a big one. Whoa, now we're all the way over here. Okay, and it keeps going. Do you see how you were here and now because of your decisions to try something different, oh, you made a mistake, that's okay, but you're not here. You ain't gonna go all the way back unless you totally give up on everything. If you keep trying, you're changing your path already. You ain't on the path of destruction, Holmes. You already finding your way. And that's what I want to make emphasized here. Even if you make a mistake, unless you totally give up and completely revert, you won't be here again. So as soon as you choose, start moving towards what you really want and figuring out how to do it step by step, you're going to do it. It's impossible not to. Anyway, anyways, how many do I have left? Oh, great, it leads off. The next one was everything can work in your favor if you let it. Especially for people who believe in God. A big thing I said is that rejection is protection. Even if something hurts, even if something denies you, even if something says, no, we don't like you, we don't want you, you're not good enough, blah, 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 blah. Protection. It's not rejection, it's protection. You have no idea what would have happened if you would have liked it, if it was really for you, and you just got protected. So be thankful and move along and know that everything can work in your favor if you let it. Okay, last two. Be honest with yourself and then others. I want to make sure that we still involve other people in our own healing journey, because I think we do live in a world where we're pretty self-absorbed and we focus on healing ourselves and and finding our own path and all that goody goodness. But we also live in a world where we treat other people like they're NPCs, and we live in a world where we kind of glorify this idea that the world is a movie about ourselves and everybody else is just playing a character. No, that's not healthy. I get it. It's easy to do, easy to fall into, and it's easy especially to think like, well, I gotta do this for myself, and what about me? Blah, 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 right? And we do need to focus on ourselves. We do need to heal ourselves. We do need to put energy into that, but we can't and should not start to feel like it's just us, that we can't still give our time or our energy to people, that other people are non-playable characters, or just characters at all in our life. They're people. They're human beings, like you're a human being. We need to treat other people like they're human beings. And we need to acknowledge that how we act, our mental health, what we do, also affects those other human beings. So it is important for us to figure ourselves out and heal, be better, whatever, not just for ourselves, but so that we can be good to others too, because that's important. Just as much as we wanted all the other people that hurt us in our life to be good to us, they had their own issues, didn't they? And they weren't. And they weren't trying to figure it out either. So, think about it. And lastly, have faith in yourself and God. And that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore. That's everything. If you do all this, you will overcome anxiety and depression, and I think you can apply these things in life in general, and you're going to be a happier, generally, person and be more at peace. Even if the goal, which it shouldn't be, is to seek pleasure only. If you do these things, you're just going to happen to find it. And now, not everything will be perfect, but it doesn't need to be. Pain and dark things show us the beautiful, lovely, amazing things as well, It's all important. So we should appreciate it and be thankful for even the things we don't like. And that's that. Go be healthy in your brain. And thanks for watching.